Have you ever found yourself wondering if there is still room for love after 60? Have you ever felt that butterflies in your chest? That desire to have someone to share breakfast with, or even just to sit on the porch and talk about life? It may not seem like it. Sometimes we get used to the silence of the house, to the solitary routine, to the idea that the time to fall in love has passed. But let me tell you something very closely, as if I were talking to a very dear friend. It's never too late to start over, and love has no age to happen. There are people who say that after a certain age, life slows down, shrinks, as if we were falling behind. But look, it's not quite like that. The truth is that often what slows down is not life, it's courage. The will is there, quiet, waiting for a little push. And maybe that's why you've come this far today. Maybe your heart is more open than you think. Maybe, deep down, you're wondering, is there still time? Is there still room to feel that warmth in your chest, that good anxiety before meeting someone? Is it worth it? And I tell you with all the sincerity in the world, yes, okay. Because love after 60 is different. He is more mature, kinder, more patient. There's no rush of youth, no pressure to succeed at any cost. It has a beauty that only those who have lived a long time can recognize. But of course, not everyone feels ready for this. There are people who are still hurt. There are people who have closed themselves off out of fear. There are people who think they have gotten used to living alone, but deep down they carry a huge longing to feel part of something again. And that's where our conversation begins today. Starting over is not easy. It involves dealing with memories, feelings, and old fears. But it can also be the beginning of a beautiful new phase in your life. And to do so, it is important to recognize some signs, small gestures, thoughts, or feelings that show that you may be more prepared than you think to open yourself up to love again. Look, these signs don't all appear at once, nor do they appear in the same way for everyone. But when they do, it's as if something inside us says, "Hey, I think I'm ready to experience this again." Do you know that moment when you catch yourself smiling alone, remembering a good conversation with someone who made you feel good? Or when you watch a romantic movie and feel that your heart still reacts, still gets emotional, still believes? There is a very beautiful sign that sometimes goes unnoticed. It is when you start to take care of yourself in a different way. It is not out of vanity, nor to impress anyone. It is because you look in the mirror and think, "I am still here, and I deserve to feel good." It could be a haircut, a new outfit, a walk in the morning just to feel the air on your face. Little things, but they show that you have started to look at yourself with affection again. Another important sign is when you start to share again. Sometimes loneliness weighs on you, but you don't even realize it. And then one day you realize that you wanted to share your afternoon coffee with someone, that you wanted to tell them how your day was, that you wanted to hold someone's hand while you were walking, not because you need to, but because you want to, because you miss them. And look, there's one thing that never fails. When you start looking at the people around you with curiosity and not with distrust, when you allow yourself to talk, hear stories, laugh with someone new, even if it's just as a friend at first, that's where the beginning of everything lies.
So, salmon does have iron in it, but it's not a lot. There's better sources of iron. But one day, in a dance class, she met a man who had a calm smile and a way of listening that put her at ease. At first, she resisted. "I'm too old for this," she said. But time passed, and she realized that it wasn't a question of age. It was a question of permission. Permission to feel again, to believe, to try. So, my friend, if you've been feeling that your heart is wanting to beat differently, even if it's still silent, if you've been missing sharing your life with someone, if you've been looking more inside and realizing that there's still an empty space wanting to be filled, maybe it's the right time. And no, you don't need to run after someone. Love isn't about rushing. It's about being present. It's about being fully present to receive the other person. And that starts with you. Now, speaking very quietly here, as if confiding something precious, you don't need to be perfect, healed, with your life in order. Love doesn't require that. It just needs a willing heart, willing to try, to listen, to feel, willing to start over. We'll talk more about this because there are still other things I wanted to tell you. There are other beautiful signs that sometimes appear out of nowhere, like a flower that grows in a crack in the sidewalk, unexpected but full of life. Let's continue this conversation together, because life doesn't end after 60. Sometimes it's just starting over again, more calmly, with more truth, with more love. You know, there's one thing I've learned over time. We don't need much to be happy, but we really need it. We need to feel that what we're experiencing is real, that it makes sense. And this is even more true when we think about starting a relationship again after 60. Sometimes the second sign that you're ready for a new love comes in the form of relief. That's right, relief. When you realize that old hurts no longer hurt like they used to. It's as if that wound you've been carrying for so long is finally starting to heal. And even if there's still a little mark there, you can now touch it without suffering. There are people who have gone through very difficult losses, a divorce that left scars, the death of someone they loved very much, or even relationships that never happened but left them with fond memories. All of this weighs. But there comes a time when the heart starts to breathe again. When you realize that you no longer feel anger or guilt, that you are no longer trapped by what happened, that you can remember everything with a certain fondness, even gratitude. This is one of the most beautiful signs. It is the sign that you are freeing up space within yourself, space for something new, for someone new, for a different feeling. And the interesting thing is that this process often happens in silence. There is no party, no announcement. One day, you wake up, drink your coffee, look out the window, and think, I think it doesn't hurt anymore. And that, in itself, is a new beginning. Another powerful sign is when you start to take an interest in new environments and new connections. You start to accept invitations. You go to a dance group, a conversation circle, a different mass, an outing you've never been on before. And more than that, you start to enjoy these little adventures. It's as if you were opening the windows of your house after it had been closed for a long time. Air comes in, light too. And with that, new people come into your life. Some just pass through. Others, well, others come and stay. It's not about desperately looking for someone. It's about being present, being fully where you are. Because when we put ourselves in the right places with the right disposition, life finds ways to surprise us.
A lady I met recently told me something that really touched me. She said that for many years she avoided parties, meetings, even going to the bakery. I thought I was too old for these things. But one day, she decided to go to a painting class because she had always dreamed of painting. In the third class, he met a widower, calm, reserved, with sad but curious eyes. They talked about colors, about childhood, about life. Today, they make art together, and they take care of each other like someone watering a rare plant with delicacy and respect. See, sometimes the key to love lies in a small, almost shy, but courageous attitude. And here's another sign that you might recognize. You start to see beauty in the little things again, not just beauty in others, but in yourself. You look in the mirror and you don't just see wrinkles, you see the stories that each line carries. You see the sparkle in your eyes that still want to see the world. You see the strength that age has given you. This kind of look is transformative. When we look at ourselves with affection, the world responds. We smile differently, walk differently, even speak differently. It's as if to say, I like myself, and I'm ready to like someone else too. You start taking better care of yourself, not out of obligation, but out of desire. You start caring about the perfume you use, the clothes you wear, the way you express yourself. And none of this is vanity, it's self-love. It's self-esteem being reborn. And when that happens, you can bet love starts to circulate around you. And do you know what else shows that you're ready for a new love? When you realize that you don't need someone to complete yourself, but rather to share with. This changes everything. You're not looking for someone to solve your life. You're looking for someone to add to it. Someone who respects you, who admires you, who likes you exactly as you are, with your stories, your quirks, your entire background. This is the kind of love that is born strong, because it doesn't come from neediness, it comes from choice. It comes from the awareness that you deserve to be loved in a light, healthy, respectful way. And look, there are a lot of people who feel the same way as you. People who also want to start over, who also miss talking, walking hand in hand, feeling important to someone. People who are perhaps just waiting for the right moment to show themselves. Who knows, maybe this person has already crossed your path and you haven't noticed yet. But don't rush, everything has its time. The most important thing is to take care of yourself first. Keep your heart light, your eyes alert, and your soul ready. Because when love comes, even after 60, it comes slowly, but it comes with force. And how wonderful it is to be able to feel that again, isn't it? The most beautiful thing of all is that this mature love is not afraid to show who it is. It comes with truth, with affection, with that kind of care that cannot be explained, it can only be felt. Now, if you can relate to these things we're talking about, if you've been feeling this desire to start over, even if in silence, then stay with me, because there's still one more part of this conversation that I really want to share with you. And it is special, because it talks about what moves us even when everything seems to stand still: hope. Have you ever noticed how hope has a quiet way of entering our lives? It doesn't arrive with a bang, it doesn't clap its hands, it doesn't draw attention. Sometimes it's just a brief thought: what if it still works out for me? Other times it's a smile that escapes the corner of the mouth when remembering someone, or a heart that beats faster without explanation. This is perhaps the fifth sign, and one of the strongest, that you are ready for a new love, when hope returns to live in your chest.
It doesn't have to be a grand hope, full of promises. It could just be the sincere desire to share breakfast with someone, to have company during long afternoons, to exchange loving messages at the end of the day. It is this desire that shows that your heart still has space, still thirsts for affection, still believes that life can be beautiful even after so much. And that's no small feat, you know? Having hope after 60 is an act of courage, because you've lived a lot, you've seen many stories, you've been disappointed, you've been happy, you've lost, and you've started over. Even so, you choose to keep believing. You choose to keep opening your heart to the possibility of loving again. And you know what that means? That you're not getting old, you're getting strong. Because love and maturity is not in the rush of youth, it has the depth of experience. It is no longer fooled by appearances, nor is it content with little. It wants truth, it wants connection, it wants partnership. This kind of love, when it arrives, doesn't come to confuse. It comes to add value. It comes lightly. It comes with a calm conversation, a look that understands, a touch that respects. It comes with the maturity of someone who is not here to play games, but to build something beautiful, even if it's simple, even if it's slow. I often say that the heart has no expiration date. It just needs space to breathe. And when we give it that space, everything can blossom again. Maybe you're listening to this right now and thinking, but is there still time for me? And I tell you, of course there is. As long as there's life, there's possibility. And the truth is that there's no right age to love. There's just a right moment. And if you feel that moment is approaching, or maybe it's already here, then trust. Allow yourself. Give it a chance. No one needs to dive in head first, but taking a step is already a big step. Sending a message, accepting an invitation, smiling back. Sometimes love starts with a small gesture, and it grows slowly, like a plant that finds the sun again after cloudy days. And it doesn't matter if you live alone, if you're already retired, if your children have gone their separate ways, love is still possible. It can appear in a walking group, on a trip with friends, on a new social network, or even in that unexpected reunion with someone from the past.
But for that, there is one detail that makes all the difference. You need to see yourself as someone who deserves to love and be loved. Because you see, it's not a matter of luck, it's a matter of openness. When you look at yourself with affection, treat yourself with respect. When you believe that you still have a lot to offer, you start to vibrate differently. And the world feels it, people feel it, and everything around you starts to respond. So if you feel that, the wounds of the past are lighter. You became interested in new things again. Your self-esteem is being renewed. You want to share your life with someone in a healthy way. And hope came back to live inside you? Then, my dear, it is a clear sign that you are ready for a new love. And look, that's no small thing. It's beautiful, it's powerful, it's worthy. You are not alone. There are many people your age who feel the same way, who want to start over, who are looking for that genuine exchange, that welcoming look, that affection that soothes. And this video here is a way of saying that yes, it is possible. And more than that, it is real. Sometimes all we need is a sincere conversation, like this one, to rekindle something inside us, a desire, a courage, a memory. And if you've come this far listening to me with an open heart, then I can only thank you. Because this conversation is not just about romantic love. It's about love for life, love for yourself, love for the possibility of being happy again.
At 60, 70, 80, each age brings a different way of loving, but they all have something in common: the ability to make us feel alive, to make us smile again, wish again, believe again. So if this video touched your heart, if you saw yourself in any part of this story, leave a comment below. Tell me, do you feel ready for a new love? What stops you the most, or what motivates you the most? And if you know someone who needs to hear these words, someone who may be lonely but still dreams of love, share this video. Spreading hope is also a form of love. And remember, you are not at the end. You are in for a new chance. And love, love never retires. It just changes shape, matures, gains new flavor. Starting over is not about going back to the past. It is about choosing a new path with everything you have already learned. And that is one of the most beautiful things a human being can do. Life still has many good things to offer you, and love could be one of them.